In today's video, we're talking about why you as a freelance web designer aren't making as much money as you wish you were, and exactly what you need to do to change it. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Now, before we jump into all of the reasons why you're not making money as a freelance web designer, I need you to scroll down and comment down below what is the most money you've ever made on a single website project. This is going to give me a really good idea of where everybody's at. This is a judge-free zone, so it doesn't matter if it's $20 or $200,000. Comment down below. I'd love to see where you're at. Now, this video hits really close to home for me because this is a question that I asked myself a lot during the first 2 or 3 years as a freelancer, because I was not making very much money and I was working super hard. I was having a hard time finding clients. When I did find clients, they weren't paying me a whole lot, and I was a very underpaid web designer, and it was really frustrating. And I remember months where literally going into the month, I knew that if we didn't land a new website project, I was going to have no way to pay the bills or take care of my family. And I know that it can be so stressful. So in this video, I want to break down 3 things that are going to either prevent you from making a lot of money or could be an absolute game changer for you in taking you from being the type of web designer that makes a few $100s a month to the type of web designer that can make $5,000, $10,000, even $15,000 per month. And so we're going to break those things down right now. The first reason that you're not getting paid as a freelance web designer is you're not charging enough. Now, I know that this might seem obvious, and there are actually a lot more reasons beyond just having more money in your pocket every single project. Now, what I learned is when you undercharge for your services, you sign yourself up for a lot more crap than you're ever going to want to deal with. And what I mean by that is when you undercharge for your services, those clients almost always end up being much more needy. They're breathing down your neck the entire project. They're super picky. They don't trust you. And so you're going to be wasting a lot more of your time and energy when you undercharge. Now, on the reverse side, if you overcharge, or at the very least charge what you're actually worth, there are a lot of great things that are going to happen, right? The obvious, yes, you're going to have more money in your pocket from that project. But what you're going to do is you're going to tap into this new level of clients that are going to benefit you a lot more, right? You're going to tap into this type of client that doesn't breathe down your neck. They're not super picky. They trust you as an expert, and they have the mindset that they are investing in their business rather than trying to talk or haggle on price with a lowly freelance web designer. And so if you can tap into that upper level where you're charging more, your clients actually get a lot easier. In fact, some of my biggest clients that have the biggest budgets, whether that's for a website or marketing or SEO, the ones that are paying the most are typically the easiest to work with because they have that mindset that this is an investment and they're willing to work with you in order to help you be successful as a freelancer or a contractor. Now, the other thing that's going to be a huge benefit as you reach that next level of client is when you work with clients that have big budgets and like to spend money and invest in their business, you're going to get referred by them a lot more. First off, because they're going to be happier with your work. But second off, when they do refer you, they're going to be referring you to friends that are very similar to them, right? If someone refers you and says, hey, here's this guy that built my website, he only charged $15,000, their friends are going to go into this thinking, oh, his cheapest price is $15,000. And when they reach out to you, they're going to have a really good idea of what they're going to need to invest on that higher end in order to work with you. Now, on the reverse side, I still get calls from referrals of early customers that say, hey, I heard from so-and-so that you only charge $800 for a website. And I have to tell those people, like, I'm sorry, I don't do that. And oftentimes they're really frustrated with me, or they feel like I owe them to do a really cheap site because I did it for their friend. And so it is interesting how that mentality of those lower budget clients oftentimes are a lot more grumpy with you. They expect a lot more, and they just don't treat you like an expert, okay? And so if you can charge more and reach that next level of client, it's going to make your life easier. It's going to save you time. And more importantly, you're not going to need as many clients. You're just going to need a couple really high quality clients, and you're going to make just as much money or even more money while taking on less stress, less hassle, without people hounding you every single day or trying to haggle on price. So if you're in the situation where you're not making as much money as you want to as a freelancer, I would invite you to go back over your pricing sheets and ask yourself, am I making as much as I feel like I'm worth? And if not, you need to raise those prices. Now, I want to be careful with this because you don't just want to raise your prices just because. You also are going to ask yourself, am I providing enough value to justify this price? Now, in my situation, early on when I was charging $800 for a website, it probably was only worth $800. I wouldn't say that I was necessarily undercharging those people, but now when I'm charging $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 for a website, I truly believe in my heart that the value that I'm providing them is worth that much money. And so you have to be honest with yourself and say, if I'm going to bump up my prices and charge more, I need to make sure that it's going to be worth it for my client. And one thing that I always talk about with my clients is I want to make sure that however much money you invest in working with me, we should do enough good work that it's going to pay itself back very quickly. And then, like any good investment, you're going to have a positive return on that money. Now, the second reason that you're probably not making as much money as you want to be making is you don't know how to sell yourself or your services. Now, this is something that I see all the time in the web design industry is a lot of very introverted individuals who are great at design, but are absolute crap at selling themselves or selling prospects on the idea of working with them. And when I started out as a freelancer, in my mind, I thought that freelancing was 99% design and maybe 1% sales and business. When in reality, I would say it's maybe 40 to 45% design and the rest is sales, right? This is a business where if you're a designer that can actually go into a call or a meeting and do a great job of selling prospects on working with you, you automatically are going to blow every other web designer out of the water, and you're not going to have to deal anymore with these prospects saying, oh, well, I've got a cousin that can build a website for $400, because you're going to go in there and rather than just talk about the websites you build, you're going to go in there and you're going to ask really great questions, and you're going to try to understand their pain points and their goals. And then by doing that, investigating, you're then going to be able to go into a sales process where you can show them the benefits of working with you, show them how you're going to relieve those pain points and help them accomplish their goals. And if you can become really, really good and smooth at taking them through this process and selling them on working with you, that is going to be far more valuable than any other skill that you can learn as a web designer. And for me, there have been countless times where I've lost sales because I didn't do a good job and they've hired other freelancers or agencies. But I've also had instances where they tell me, man, you just did such a better job of explaining your services and how it's going to help us that it was a no-brainer to go with you. And so I promise you that if you put in a really great effort to improve as a salesman, it is going to benefit you far more than any other aspect of your business, whether that is honing in on your design skills or your business skills or anything else. Sales is key in any business, but especially in the business of freelancing. Now, a really good example of this is Ron Segal, and you've probably watched a lot of his videos. Ron is a really interesting study because he is a fantastic designer, right? We've all watched his channel or maybe even taken his course. He does such a great job of focusing on design in his videos, but you don't get to the level making as much money as he did as a freelancer without being a good salesperson. And he often talks about how he loved going in and meeting with prospects in person because he knew how to sell himself. And so don't kid yourself and convince yourself that you don't need to be a good salesperson because you're a great designer, because even the greatest web designers that you can think of, whether that's on YouTube or anywhere else, I promise you any of them that are truly successful are great salespeople. So if you don't believe me, jump back into some of Ron's videos and pay attention to how good of a salesperson he is. Now, the third and most important thing that you need to understand in order to make more money as a freelance web designer is you need to change your mentality. You probably right now are in the same place that I was at some point, where I had the traditional design mentality, right? I had this idea that It was hard to make money as a freelance designer. It was difficult to find clients. And you fall into that stereotype of just that sad, underpaid designer, and you don't value your own work. And if you don't value your own work, why would a client value your work, right? And so you need to break yourself of that. You need to get rid of that mentality and go from design mentality to that expert mentality. And what I mean by this is, early on when I started my business, people would ask me what I did for work. And I would say, I design websites for people. And my confidence, even in my answer of what I did, was so sad. And there's no way that people would hear that and say, oh, wow, I want to work with him, right? Now, what's changed over time is, yes, I've added a lot of additional skills and services to my business. I've learned SEO and other marketing tactics and different things to bring value beyond web design. But now when somebody asks me what I do for work, I tell them very confidently that I build businesses online. I'm not so attached to the idea that I'm a web designer that I use that as my answer, because the fact of the matter is, you're not going to get paid as much as a lowly web designer. But what you will get paid for is if you are an expert in all things, web design, optimization, marketing, growing businesses online. If you can change your mindset and your skill set to almost turn into a new thing, a new career, a new person altogether, people are going to respect you more, and the perceived value of what you offer is going to be much, much greater. Now, when I made this switch and I worked really hard to change my mentality, I almost immediately saw a huge surge in my income. And it was because people stopped going from originally they would get on the phone with me or in a meeting, and in their mind, they're like, this kid is a freelance web designer. I need to talk him down on price to get him to the lowest price possible, right? But when I changed and I started to become like this all-in-one expert of websites, marketing, all these different things, when people understood that's who I was and they could see the confidence that I had in that, they changed their mindset from how can I haggle down the price to how much can I afford to invest in this guy to help him help grow my business. And so not only did that change my mentality and my confidence, but it changed the way that my clients treated me. It changed the way that prospective clients treated me and saw me. And altogether, I was able to charge more. I was able to command higher prices. And people never questioned what I was doing because I had proven to them from start to finish of their project that I knew exactly what I was doing, and I was more than just a freelance web designer. And I know that that will make such a huge difference for you if you can kind of let go of that idea that you're just a super good designer and go from designer to expert. You need to spend the time to add additional skills and hone in the current skills that you have and find ways to provide more value for your clients, because I promise you, the way that you get paid or the amount of money that you get paid will almost be in direct correlation to the amount of value that you're bringing people. And the fact of the matter is, sometimes design is not going to get you where you want to go alone. But if you can add other things on top of that, you can command a premium price and you can make as much money as you want. Now, along with that, once you start to let go of that design mentality, you're naturally going to want to get out of the weeds, so to speak. You're going to want to start bringing on other team members and maybe step out of the design and a little bit more into the realm of managing projects and being kind of the entrepreneur of your business and finding ways to reach new clients and how to market your own business and how to refine your processes and kind of looking more forward of where your business is going to go rather than looking right in front of you at all the projects that you've got going on right now. And I think that is a very natural response once you start to change your mindset from designer to expert, is you let go of your ego and you realize that there might be people that you could hire or bring on as employees or partners or contractors that are probably a better designer than you, and you have other skills that set you apart and are going to help you bring on more clients. And yes, you can still spend time designing and having your hands in every project, but I promise you that by doing this, you're going to be able to make far more money than you are right now just being your typical run-of-the-mill freelance web designer. So to recap everything that we've talked about, number one, you need to charge more for every project. It's going to put more money in your pocket and it's also going to help you reach that next level of client that also have friends that have bigger budgets as well. The second thing is you need to become a better salesperson. Stop avoiding it, stop ignoring it, stop pretending like because you're a designer you don't need to understand sales, because I promise you that if you're a freelancer, there's nothing you need more than to be a good salesperson. And number 3, you need to change your mentality from a design mentality to an expert mentality. Do whatever it takes to go from being seen as a freelance web designer to being seen as the high-paid expert that helps grow businesses online. Add new skills, new services. In my case, I chose to add SEO as a secondary service. So once a website client finishes their website and once we take it live, they roll right into a month-to-month SEO campaign. And this is a way that I've been able to not only get paid more, but bring way more value to my clients. And so whatever you can do to kind of graduate into that expert status, I promise you you're going to get paid a lot more, and it's going to be much easier to land clients because you already have set yourself apart as the go-to choice. So the last thing that I would say is if you have questions on how much you should be charging for your website projects, I've got a video that I'm going to link to right here that you can click on. That's going to be a really useful video for you to understand what you should be charging, how to price out your services, and then how to start your transformation to go from freelance web designer to high-paid expert. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please drop them down below. If you found any value in this video, please be sure to subscribe. I'm blown away that only about 15% of the people watching this video are actually subscribed. And I hope to be pumping out way more videos like this one to provide more value to you, to teach you how to charge more, get paid more, be a higher valued web designer, and to increase your lifestyle by becoming better at what you do. So click down below, be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.